let's do a quick review of sections 6-1 and 6-2. And so first up, well, let's take a look at what rationing is before we talk about pricing. Rationing is a system that is something that we do other than pricing in order to distribute goods and services. So for example, in class we had that little project with a pencil, trying to find some way that is not too unfair to distribute the pencils. You know, some would say, well, it's fair because everybody got to use the pencil for 10 minutes or whatever scheme you came up with. But you argue the other point that essentially it's unfair because some people can work faster than others. So that could be a problem. And so rationing is often viewed as unfair. And it's really not a great way to distribute products. And so most of the time when it happens, it's during emergencies, like during time of war, like World War II. And there could be other times where rationing would be appropriate, maybe during natural disasters, and you got to make sure that people don't hoard products out of fear of shortages. So anyway, it has its benefits, but in general, it's not an efficient way to distribute products to individuals. So advantages with prices is that generally it's about the fairest way that you can distribute goods and services. It's very efficient. It's easy to make decisions based on pricing, and it doesn't require the government to monitor some type of rationing organization or monitoring what people are charging for particular goods and services. If the price is too high, the market will take care of itself. People will either buy it or they won't buy it. Let's see. So, as far as making decisions go, if you see a high price, it's generally a signal or it's information to you to not buy the product. And low prices, it's a signal for you to buy it. What else do we have here? Let's see. There's problems that we talked about. Let me take a look at some of the test questions here and see what we can go over. Well, let's talk about the price adjustment process. Take a look at a graph here. So blue is our supply curve, red the demand curve, downward sloping, and where the two intersect, we come to agreement, and at that point we call that equilibrium, or a point where the market clears. So everybody that wants the product can get the product, and those who want to sell the product will sell it at an agreed on price known as the equilibrium price. And in this case, that equilibrium price is $15 with an equilibrium quantity of 6. And there's that same chart in a table format. Price 15, quantity demanded 6, supplied 6, therefore the market is clear. There's no leftovers, and there's nobody wanting the product that can't get it. So let's take a look at what happens if the price is too high. For example, at $25. Suppliers are willing to supply a lot of the product, in this case 11. But at that high price, those who would demand the product are only 1. So there's low demand, and that creates a surplus. And so there needs to be downward pressure on the price, down, in order to reach equilibrium. So there's downward pressure to adjust the prices to reach equilibrium. So you might see a test question, something like this. What is the situation that exists when there is a surplus? Well, the situation is that a surplus exists when the supply is greater than the demand. And so that creates a surplus. What might happen if we are at equilibrium and then all of a sudden there is a increase in demand? All of a sudden we come down to here. What could happen? Yes, there could be a shortage, and then we would expect that the price would have to rise in order to clear that shortage. So increase in demand, all of a sudden we move away from equilibrium this way. We're going to end up with a shortage because the demand is here, but yet the supply is way over here. So this area here is going to result in a shortage.